And we are here for the Emerging Vaping Trends Training, Health Risks, Use Appeal, and Prevention Strategies. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Sign in using the chat box name and email address if I don't have it. The presentation is being recorded. You're welcome to use your video. You don't have to. You can mute yourself. It just helps with room distractions. And then after the presentation, I will send the PowerPoint and the recording. Ellie is watching the chat. If you have questions throughout, pop them in there. She'll interrupt me, or we will do them at the question and answer time. But yeah, there will be some interactive. You can either unmute and answer the knowledge questions or just throw it in the chat, whichever you're most comfortable with. So yeah, that should be it for housekeeping. So youth mentoring. I am one of the youth mentoring coordinators. And why we give these trainings is because we strive to navigate youth away from risky behaviors. And one of the ways that we do that is by providing information to the community, our mentors, parents, guardians, people that work with youth, just trying to keep up on all the trends and everything that we're seeing. If you want more information about mentoring and how to get involved, you can go to our website. We're always in need of mentors for our kids. Okay. Knowledge question 1. Some e-cigarettes are safe for youth. True or false? Correct. So false. All e-cigarettes or vapes are unsafe for youth. Part of what we're doing today is talking about that exact fact. And why are we here? Well, look at the numbers. This is why we're here. E-cigarettes are the most commonly used tobacco products among youth. They are not slowing down. They are just getting more and more popular. Nicotine pouches, e-cigarettes among U.S. middle and high school students in 2024. You can see what those numbers were. That was based off of a national youth survey. Slightly more than 4 in 10 reported frequent use. More than 1 in 4 report daily use. So this is why we're here. It is definitely a problem with our youth, and we want to be aware and help people know that it is something that's out there. This is just a little potency thing that some people like to know. I mean, it's easy to look at a pack of cigarettes and know the amount of nicotine in one pack of cigarettes. You can see it's about 20 cigarettes, whereas a Juul pod is about 37 cigarettes, a Vuse pod is about 82 cigarettes, and the Elf bar, which we're going to talk about more if you don't know what that is about 590 cigarettes. I've been asked before a pack of cigarettes, a person would typically know how long a packet's going to last. It's a little harder with e-cigarettes. It's not as easy to know how much you have actually went through. It all depends on how often you're puffing on it. And so it's a little harder, but this just kind of gives a small breakdown if you compare the two. So, smart vapes. What are smart vapes? Smart vapes come in many different forms, but generally they include a digital display screen, fruit or candy flavors, and nicotine. Smart vapes may include other smartphone features such as games, photo wallpaper, touch screens, Bluetooth connectivity. Some of the devices that we're seeing also have gamifying with animations that display when you puff, and reward systems for vaping, such as points and rankings. Some feature virtual pets fed by each puff. I mean, there's tons of stuff that they're coming out with now. Public health organizations and experts have voiced concerns, citing potential for increased nicotine addiction, especially with youth. As you can imagine, this is pretty popular. The trends that we are seeing with smart vape sales, 2 e-cigarettes with digital screens being the probably bigger ones are called Geek Bar Pulse and Raz. They came out in June of 2024, and they are the 3rd and 6th top selling e-cigarette brands in the United States. Geek Bar Pulse was the top selling disposable e-cigarette in June of 2024. Additional smart vape brands and products are also being marketed and sold in the United States. How are these smart vapes affecting our youth? Some U.S. youth are using smart vapes. In 2024, 5.8% of middle school and high school students who said they used e-cigarettes in the past 30 days. So that's about 90,000 youth reported using these Geek Bars. Smart vapes have unique addictive potential for youth, combining addictive nicotine and appealing flavors with potentially addictive behavior, like using screens and playing video games. Smart vapes are illegal. They are being illegally marketed and sold in the United States, and they're not permitted to be marketed or sold without FDA authorization. Health risks of e-cigarettes. E-cigarettes are known by many different names. You may have heard vapes, vape pens, e-cigs, or just Juul. The newer ones that I mentioned would be the Elf Bar, things like that. No matter what you call it, it's an e-cigarette. E-cigarettes are devices that heat liquids containing nicotine or other drugs into an aerosol that users inhale. An aerosol is a suspension of fine solid or liquid gases, liquid particles in gas. E-cigarettes come in lots of different shapes. Some look like regular tobacco products, such as cigarettes, but in recent years, they look like other things, including USB flash drives, pens, everyday items. Puff Bar, Views, Juuls, and Smock are examples of common e-cigarettes shaped like USB flash drives. In 2022, the most common type of device used by middle and high schoolers was the disposable e-cigarettes. Regardless of what you call it or what they look like, they're all e-cigarettes, and none of them are safe for young people to use. So, true or false, e-cigarettes create a harmless water vapor. And again, you can throw it in the chat or unmute and just shout it out. Okay, got a lot of false answers there. Thank you, guys. So yeah, the answer is false. E-cigarettes allow the user to exhale clouds that are not harmless water vapor. The tobacco industry prefers the term vapor because that implies it is harmless, but it's not harmless. E-cigarettes could create an aerosol that can be harmful to your health. Examples of aerosols include cleaning products and cooking sprays. As a reminder, an aerosol is the suspension of fine solid or liquid particles in gas. Besides nicotine, e-cigarette aerosol can contain cancer-causing chemicals, heavy metals, and ultrafine particles that can be inhaled deeply into the lungs and harm your body. Even though e-cigarette aerosol generally contains fewer harmful chemicals than regular cigarette, it doesn't mean that it's safe. This applies to both people using e-cigarettes as well as people who are exposed to secondhand aerosol from other people using e-cigarettes. Those flavorings in e-cigarettes are not safe either. The gut can handle a lot more than the lungs, and flavorings in e-cigarettes or pods is not safe when inhaled. Scientists are still working to understand more fully the health effects of e-cigarette content when they're heated and turned into an aerosol. We just don't know as much, but we definitely know they're not. You can look on this chart and image there and just see a little bit more. Most e-cigarettes contain nicotine. True or false? That is true. According to the CDC, e-cigarettes usually contain nicotine. That's the addictive drug in regular cigarettes and other tobacco products. It's especially important to understand this because nicotine is highly addictive and can harm the adolescent brain, which we know is continuing to develop until 25 years. We are going to take just a little bit and talk more about nicotine. What is it? You can see the dictionary definition of nicotine. It's important to have a basic understanding of what nicotine is because you can understand why using e-cigarettes is risky. Nicotine is a drug found in tobacco plants. You should know that nicotine is the drug found in tobacco products that makes them addictive. That means that once someone uses it, their body will continue to want more. Some immediate effects of nicotine include increased heart rate, altering brain chemistry, increased stress, and it affects all parts of the body when inhaled. Nicotine comes in many different types. This is a pH scale that measures how acidic or basicity a solution is. An acidic solution has a high concentration of hydrogen ions, greater than that of pure water. Examples of acidic items include lemons, soda, and batteries. A basic solution has a low H concentration, less than that of pure water. Examples of basic or alkaline solutions include baking soda, toothpaste, and eggs. Why am I showing you all this and talking about pH scales? Well, pH matters when it comes to how harsh feeling nicotine is on one's body, particularly one's throat when nicotine is being inhaled. Most nicotine in cigarettes and some e-cigarettes is what we call free-base nicotine, which means it's an alkaline on the pH scale. Since free-base nicotine is an alkaline, it has harsh feeling on your throat. Nicotine salts are considered an acid and are less harsh feeling on your throat. It's a particular concern for young people because it allows for nicotine to be used more easily, which increases the likelihood of trying an e-cigarette and getting hooked. Another type of nicotine is synthetic nicotine, which is made in a lab rather than derived from the tobacco plant. Examples of e-cigarettes with synthetic nicotine include those puff bars and elf bars that I talked about a little earlier. Either way, it doesn't matter if the nicotine came from a tobacco plant or was made in the lab. Nicotine is addictive and can harm the developing brain. So, true or false, nicotine harms the developing brain? Yes, remember, all contain nicotine, and that's highly addictive. So, important growth is happening in our youth brains, and it continues until they're 25 years old. It's the largest organ in the human body to develop fully, exposing the brain to nicotine. While it is in this important stage, like this developmental phase can cause addiction and harm the brain. Think about it like this: each time a new memory is created or a new skill is learned, stronger connections or synapses are built between brain cells. Nicotine changes the way these connections or synapses are formed, which can harm the part of the brain that control attention and learning. For youth, any exposure to nicotine is unsafe. Putting nicotine in the body is very, very addictive, and it can also prime the brain for addiction to other tobacco products or other drugs. So let's talk a little bit about addiction. Youth are especially sensitive to nicotine addictive effects because their brains are still developing. This makes it easier to get hooked. The use of nicotine rewires their brain to become more easily addicted. It's absorbed into the body and goes directly to the brain. It activates areas of the brain that make a person feel satisfied and happy. Can look different from person to person. Some signs of nicotine addiction include cravings, feeling the need to use, getting out of the way to get tobacco, feeling anxious or irritable if you want to use but can't because you're in school, continuing to use tobacco because you find it hard to stop. Those can all just be definite signs of nicotine addiction. We are going to watch a video called My Vaping Mistakes. Hopefully the sound is all there.
Make sure that I take off all of my makeup.
Microwavable mac and cheese.
I woke up craving it.
It's all that's on my mind.
I couldn't control my own decisions anymore.
I was screaming, yelling.
I was not myself at all.
Vaping was just constantly veering me towards destruction.
I started dating a guy within the friend group. He handed me his vape and he was like, go ahead and take a hit. I thought it was something that was going to help me be more accepted or help people admire me more. And it definitely did not do that.
I didn't think it was a problem.
In the car, absentmindedly vaping on my way to school.
Stuck in your room, vaping by yourself.
It's just a hunger that you can't please. And then within a few weeks, I was addicted, so.
For years, I was very passionate about skateboarding and making skateboard videos. I found myself selling all my skateboards and buying vapes with that money. I don't have those vapes anymore, so that money's gone. I don't have skateboards, I don't have vapes. It leaves you with nothing.
I was constantly lying to my mom, saying, Mom, I need some money for food. Mom, I need some money for gas. But I would really just use that money to fuel my addiction.
I was so addicted that I just had to have another hit, no matter what I had felt like previously.
Shakes in my hands.
Nicotine withdrawal headaches every morning when I woke up.
If I hadn't vaped for 3 hours, I was very, very mad. Mood swings off the charts, always arguing with my parents.
I wasn't focused on the I get caught, I get in trouble. I was focused on the they're gonna take it away and I'm addicted to it and I can't have it taken away.
One time I left my vape in my car and someone had stole it. I threw a temper tantrum, I was screaming, yelling. My friends said that they were scared to drive in the car with me because I was so mad. They were like, you have a real problem with this.
I love singing and vaping was affecting my ability to do that. I made the commitment to quit vaping. I threw my vape away and 2 days into me quitting, I was back buying another vape. And that was really the moment that I realized I wasn't as in control as I thought I was.
Right after practice, I had my jersey on. I hadn't even taken off my pads yet. Brought the vape up to my mouth and I just looked at myself and I was like what am I doing? I can't do this anymore. I realized that it's just taking everything away from me.
Choosing to quit vaping was making the choice to take care of myself, to have hope for my future again.
I love DJing, I love music.
When I quit, freedom was definitely the biggest thing that I felt.
Vaping affected my schoolwork.
My will to be healthy.
My self-worth.
It took control of me.
Now that I am over it, it makes you feel like you can do anything.
Yeah, so just kind of reiterating what I was talking about and how addictive it can be. I like hearing it from the point of view of kids who have been there, living it. Now they're kind of on the other side. So yeah.
Make sure that I take off. Make sure that I take off.
So some more of those risks. Many youth who use them are more likely to go on to smoke regular cigarettes, even if they think they never will. Using 2 or more tobacco products is more common among middle and high school youth. Many youth who use e-cigarettes also smoke cigarettes. The best thing to do to protect their health is ensure they're not using any tobacco products at all. Because e-cigarettes are causing poisoning. You can see on this chart, it's pretty scary enough, but children and adults have been poisoned by swallowing, breathing, or absorbing e-cigarette liquid through their skin or eyes. The increase in calls to poison control centers across the country, where people call for help when they've been exposed to poison or other harmful things. In 2021, over 5,000 of those calls came from e-cigarette devices and liquid nicotine. In 2022, there was 6,700 calls that were because of e-cigarette poisoning. Nicotine poisoning is also affecting pets. They can experience nicotine poisoning by drinking nicotine refill liquid, chewing on e-cigarette refill canisters, chewing on devices themselves. If your animals could be experiencing this, you would see vomiting, unsteadiness, drooling, tiredness, fast heart rate, shaking, weakness, seizures, and death. It's just something that people don't even think about, like if you're leaving them out, or even the secondhand that we talked about a little bit earlier of the vapor that's coming out can be affecting everyone around you, even your animals. So, true or false, cigarette butts are the most littered plastic item. Yes, true. There are over 15,000 different microplastics in a cigarette butt. So we're just going to talk a little bit about how e-cigarettes are affecting the environment. They're not safe. They pose a significant environment threat. They waste, introduce plastic, nicotine salts, heavy metals, lead, mercury, and flammable lithium-ion batteries into waterways, soil, and wildlife. E-cigarette waste is not biodegradable, and when left on the streets, eventually break down into microplastics and chemicals that flow into the storm drains and pollute waterways and wildlife. Ooh, definitely not something we really want around. Tobacco use impacts people and our communities differently. Targeted marketing by the tobacco industry is definitely happening. In 2019, the tobacco companies spent $22.5 million a day marketing their products. The tobacco companies specifically advertise and market their products to certain populations. Definitely the young and young adults. Tobacco ads making smoking appear to be appealing, which can increase the adolescent desire to smoke. Women are targeted. Marketed toward women is dominated by themes of social desirability, empowerment, and independence, which are conveyed by advertisements featuring slim, attractive, and athletic models. Racial and minority populations, Hispanic and American Indians, Alaskan Natives, African American communities. African American communities is targeted with advertisement and promotion for menthol cigarettes. Asian Americans, LGBTQ, geographic distribution of tobacco retail outlets and promotions. The number of retailers selling tobacco products varies widely depending on your community, with more retailers in areas with lower income and greater proportions of African American residents. Industry development of novel tobacco products that appeal to youth, including flavored tobacco products and stealth products. E-cigarettes and youth-appealing flavors are being sold in retailers. Several of the e-cigarettes most popular with youth resemble the USB flash drives like we talked about and can be relatively odorless. E-cigarettes can be stealth products and disguised as backpacks, smartwatches, sweatshirts, fidget spinners, or handheld gaming devices to avoid detection or be seen by others. So, youth are exposed to e-cigarette advertising. These messages come in many different forms, whether it's store signs, television ads, movies, internet, social media, magazines with cool images, or newspaper. It's all over, and big tobacco is one of the main contributors. They spent 18.2 billion on marketing, and e-cigarette ads reached nearly 4 in 5 middle and high schooler students, and youth exposed to these ads has increased in recent years. The e-cigarette companies are targeting young people and making a lot of money off of doing it. A few examples of how they're doing it: they're using marketing ads including like sexual content, independence, rebellion, and celebrity figures to appeal to youth and young adults. As you can see numbers on this chart, retail stores, internet, television, and then newspaper or magazines. So the stores are still the highest, but our internet number is not too far away from that. So in addition to advertising, we also know that flavors influence youth use. Most youths who use e-cigarettes are doing so because of the appeal of the flavors. Very few of them don't use flavors. Among youth who currently used e-cigarettes, this is from 2022 because we don't have new data. 84.9% used flavored e-cigarettes, including 85.5% of high school and 81.5% of middle school. The most commonly used flavor types are fruit, candy, desserts, or other sweets, mint, and menthol. About 8 out of 10 middle and high school students who currently use are using these flavored products. True or false? The tobacco industry can sell any type or flavor of e-cigarettes they wish. Okay, a lot of true. This is actually false. The Food and Drug Administration has the authority to regulate all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes. As of May 2023, the FDA has authorized 23 tobacco-flavored e-cigarette products and devices, which are the only e-cigarettes that currently may be lawfully sold or distributed in the U.S. These next two charts are just youth trying an e-cigarette. So this means the first use of the product. Their reason for ever trying, you can see the highest being a friend used or uses them. Then they were just curious. They thought it would help with anxiety, stress, or feeling depressed. And then they just wanted the high or the buzz from the nicotine. Okay. And then this one is current use of e-cigarettes was defined as so use 1 day during the past 30 days. So this kind of flipped the turn here. Feeling anxious, stressed, or depressed to get a high is up there higher, and then a friend uses them and then they do it to do tricks. So what can we be doing, and what kind of resources are out there for those of us who work with youth or just have youth around us or just to know about? How can we help youth quit? There is a lot of resources to help youth quit. There's quitline training counselors, texting programs, web-based resources, smartphone apps. I'm not going to go through all of these. Like I said, I will send this out. You guys can check some of these out, but they're pretty good things. Quitline Iowa is for people living in Iowa 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Iowa, it's a simple way to help adults. You have to be 18 or older to use Quitline. It helps with e-cigarettes, cigars, chew, provides tools a person needs to help them on the path to quitting. It's confidential. You may qualify. They even have nicotine replacement therapy, including gum patches or lozenges. This program works and it's really good. The quit coaches are really good about checking in and following up with you. I was a lifetime smoker. I started when I was 12 and I am 43 and I quit 2 years ago because Quitline helped me. So I know it works and it's a good program. Prior to Quitline, there is My Life, My Quit. This is for youth under the age of 18 that have unique needs when stopping nicotine. 12-year-olds need parent permission, over 12 do not. Specialized tobacco treatment coaches who understand teens. They build a relationship. There's 5 coaching sessions that you can do by phone, live texting, or online chat. Additional text message with support, youth tailored website. It's very youth friendly. Educational materials on there are designed for youth with messages from youth about quitting tobacco or vaping and how to ask for support. You get a watermark certificate at the end of completing My Life, My Quit. I'm just going to talk a little bit about ways around us that people are trying to help vaping and help students who are doing this. It's encouraged for schools and really anyone who identifies youth who use nicotine products to help link them to the cessation support program. There is one in Iowa. Crestwood High School for the past 3 years has updated their policies to include cessation support as an option when a youth is identified. Punishing our way out of addiction doesn't work in the same way it wouldn't work to address an adult who uses nicotine. Crestwood received good feedback from the students who have chose the program as an option. So basically, once a student gets caught, they have the option to do this My Life, My Quit option, or deal with whatever ticket's going to look like and things like that. So it's a newer thing, but it is out there and something that Iowa is trying to get more people to offer for students. iStep is a statewide movement of youth fighting tobacco in Iowa. Youth groups in a high school or community organization who want to fight against big tobacco can sign up to become an iStep chapter and be a part of the movement. iStep chapters educate peers and adults about the tobacco industry, marketing tactics, help to create change locally and statewide to reduce the influence of tobacco in their communities and promote social norms, messaging around youth tobacco use. The iStep chapters actively engage in important tobacco prevention events. You can find out more about iStep at iowastep.org and how a next step could be to considering establishing a chapter in your local community or school. We also, in all of our communities, have coalitions that are working to address what they see in our communities as health risks and things that they can do. Come to these meetings, have a voice. You're always welcome. If you want, you can see we have them in Elm Keyplate, Delaware, Howard, Winneshiek, and Fayette. If you want information about when those are, you can either email me or just email Leah Hemseth directly. She works with the coalitions, but they are just another resource out there that are always trying to keep us updated on what they're seeing and how they can help in their communities. Also, Your Life Iowa is a great resource for quitting vaping. This, again, you can send students to this website. Adults can go to this website. They can call, they can chat, they can text. It's a 24-hour line that is available. There is stuff on the website for educators, for family members that have people who are using, how to talk to them, anything like that. We can offer presentations to Your Life, on Your Life Iowa, to adults and students. I'm hoping to get into some of the health classes again this year at the high schools and talk to the kids so that they know this resource is out there and that it is there for them to have and be using. Those are what we have for resources. The rest of our time together, which we have a fair amount, will be for questions and answers. And if you could take the evaluation of today's training, I would really appreciate it. You can either drop the link into your browser or just snap the QR code. I think
It did just leave the link in the chat as well,
Okay.
too, just so that's easier for anybody.
So Ellie threw the link in there for that. If you prefer just clicking on that instead of the QR code. But while you are doing the eval, if you guys have any questions for me or anything we talked about, a lot of information, please feel free to unmute or throw them in the chat. Did I miss any questions in the chat, Ellie? I didn't see any that.
Nope, there was no questions throughout.
Okay. If you don't have questions and you're done with the eval, you're free to, you don't have to sit here till 1 o'clock. Like, you're free to jump off. We ended with plenty of time. I really appreciate you guys being here and coming to these trainings when we give them.